This is Pam. We've worked together for the last few years, and her home workout space needs an upgrade. After negotiating with Major Fitness, we were able to hook her up with a brand new setup. Here is the Drone 2. The Drone 2 is your budget-friendly power cage, but it's more than that, because it also has a built-in Smith machine, has cable attachments, and a lot of added components you don't see on standard racks. So join us on this build process as we turn this boring space into this. So let's start out with the build process, and this is going to be shipped in 3 separate boxes. There are quite a few parts to this, but everything is labeled. The directions are pretty easy to follow, and they also have a build video, so you don't need an engineering degree to build this. I personally recommend unboxing everything, getting it laid out in front of you before you start the build process. And this Amazon exclusive Drone 2 comes with some bonus gifts, and those include a hip thrust or squat pad, wrist wraps and straps, and a lifting belt, along with some of the standard attachments you'd find like D-handles, pull down bar, a straight bar, rope grip, and lastly some ankle cuffs. And you can see us as we're starting to construct this, starting to come together, and there's really no hiccups throughout this entire build process. I think me and Pam made a pretty good team on this. The only real challenging part throughout this whole build process, I would say, is the Smith machine component. It was a little bit more challenging knowing how to put that on, so I definitely recommend watching the video because that made it very clear and simple to do. And the last component that might be a little bit of a challenge is running these cables through, making sure they're in the right placement. It's not that hard, you just have to follow the directions and you'll figure it out. And with that being complete, this entire build process took us under 3 hours, roughly 2 hours and 45 minutes. Now that the next day has come, it's time to use this thing. The Smith machine is smooth, and it allows you to master movements you might not feel comfortable with, or allow you to focus on or isolate a desired muscle group. The cable component here is a game changer. It allows you to do exercises like flies, pressing movements, pull downs, rows, while also having a platform to brace your feet against. You can also mix in triceps, biceps, side raises, and pretty much whatever you can come up with. And I think the front of this machine is best described as a half rack, where there's multiple holes up and down these front posts. You can adjust the J-hooks anywhere for squats, bench press, shoulder press, or whatever it is you're gonna do. Oh, and I almost forgot, there's also an attachment for a landmine press, which allows you to do a ton of other additional movements, while also having a specific attachment I didn't mention earlier that allows for things like bent over rows. And this Drone 2 holds up pretty well during a drop test, and it manages to handle 424 pounds on both the Smith machine and the safety rails inside of the half rack. Now, one of the main concerns when it comes to a budget-friendly piece of equipment like this is safety and stability. When you're new to lifting and you're trying to master certain exercises like your squats or your deadlifts, the Smith machine can be a really helpful tool that can limit injuries and keep you more stable. Then you can get to a point where you do your squats and your bench outside on the front of the rack. And then when it comes to the stability side of this, it does move a bit. This is what you expect with some budget-friendly pieces of equipment, but it's still stable, it's still safe. It's not gonna move around or fall over on you. On the back side of this, we have these weight horns that you can see off to the side holding the weights. They add extra stability for anyone that might be concerned. You can load your weights up on there and make it more stable. Now, one of my favorite pieces to this Drone 2 is the cable attachments on the front. It makes it really versatile. It gives you so many different options. It's like a home gym all in one. I will say that I think my least favorite part of this is the Smith machine that's here. As someone who's been lifting for a while, I don't always like to use a Smith machine. So I think the Smith machine is really helpful for anyone trying to understand and learn some of the more complicated exercises out there.
Putting this together with Adam was actually a lot easier than I thought. Opening all the boxes and seeing all the pieces and parts was a little intimidating at the beginning. The easy to read directions and video made this so much easier to put together than I thought it would be. Adam and I ran through a bunch of different exercises that can be done with this machine. Changing the attachments was really easy as well. Huge shout out to Major Fitness for sending me this amazing machine. It really completes my home gym. You saw what I was working with before. This machine with all the different attachments really gives me a lot more options with what I can do.
So I think this piece of equipment might be right for someone that's looking to make their own home gym space, just like we did with Pam here. But I do think if you're a heavy lifter, you might want to look somewhere else. If you're doing powerlifting and you're lifting, 400, 500 pounds, this might not be the machine for you. But this could definitely satisfy your budget gym or home gym space needs. So check it out, link in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. Have a good day.